Very good morning to all. Greetings, and first session is always starts with high hopes. So I'll try my best, and I hope that you all are enlightened by the session. I am grateful and thankful to all WRC dignitaries and our institute. I feel really proud to be a chartered accountant, and I motivate as many people as possible. I've always told students wherever I've addressed them, wherever I've held them, I've tried to guide them that we are one of the rarest profession in this world where no business will open their books in front of us and then let them study their businesses. Let us study their businesses. We are blessed to be in this profession where from the start we are having real world training, no theory, no fake presentations where when you go out in the market you are unemployable. So with these things, and I very strongly believe that as members of this organization and institute, chartered accountants, we have the first right, ideally the first right to be the best analytics, best structures. People imagine business models and then they start working on it. During our training and skilling, we are trained by going through real balance sheets, real financials, real numbers. And whenever we have to project or put something, our training is such that if you see red in any presentation or any projections, we have lines on our forehead. So with this training and grooming, it is for us to take up all the opportunities available, and we should be the leaders and contributors. And as the dignitaries rightly said, that Chanakya had the opportunity to choose his Chandragupta. So for each one of us, we also have the opportunity. I'll not take much time and we'll start, and I hope you like what we are sharing and discussing today. So the topic given to me was Startup Superpower, India's ecosystem and scaling up of startups. Now Startup Superpower, if I have to say, it's a very wider thing, and we can take a day to go through all the statistics which are available, which are enabling us to be a superpower. But Saurabh Bhai, as usual, called up. He's kind enough to give us opportunities to share knowledge and interact with our colleagues in the profession. And he said, no, this is what we have to take. I said, okay, whatever you say was that way. So let's start. So we have so many numbers, statistics, and every passing day keeps adding on those numbers. So what we'll do is we have structured in two parts. Okay, why we are addressed now as superpower? How do we identify our potential? What exactly is going to be or how are things going to look out or pan out for us considering the momentum we have gained as an economy, as a nation? And then how do we achieve those things? So let's start. So this is the India story as of now. If we say mobile digital adoption, we have the biggest user base in the world. Any parameter of growth or positivity across domains, we have the largest public digital data infrastructure. We have one of the fastest means where a bank account can be opened digitally across the globe. Across the globe, we have the fastest systems. So what is exactly, how did we achieve this, or how did we come? So what is the ecosystem? What are the fundamentals? So culturally, we have a very rich tradition and history. We have a scientific living and an intellectual legacy. We do Surya Namaskar, we do pranayam, we live with nature. Our festivals are attuned with nature cycles. We have generous mother nature. Very few geographies on this planet have all the four weathers, and that also distributed. Within our boundaries, sometimes the boundaries are drawn and redrawn, but whatever we call as Bharatvarsh, we have different weathers, different geographies, more or less all the global experiences we have here. And then aspiration and growth is ingrained. If we go back in time, so up to 1100 AD, we were one of the biggest economies of the world. 33%, approximately 33% of global trade was done from India. Historically, we are a rich civilization and a contributing culture. We always were a multi-sector economy. If we go back, we see our history, we had all the inventors with us. May it be Aryabhatta, may it be Charak, who identified or discovered healthcare, maybe Shushruji, who identified surgery. Eventually, as we get more digitization, more data, we will be astonished to see what kind of legacy we were sitting on, how things got diluted, and it is the onus now will be on us to reinstate and get those back. And now, so this was the fundamental ecosystem. Now this is the functional and technical. So we have rich talent pool, nothing has to be said. Global tech companies, we have Indians who are leading it. We have the fastest and finest tech adoption in the world. So I was very surprised when we saw when mobiles came, calls were costly, incoming was also charged. We used to see people giving a missed call, then calling from the landline. We adopted a tech also, but we were always economical with that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have biggest digital public infrastructure. Aadhaar. So there is, you would have heard about called JAM Trinity. Jandhan, Mobile, Aadhaar. This Trinity has created one of the biggest consumer population available anywhere. This Trinity, this is called JAM, again Jandhan, Aadhaar, Mobile, has created one of the verifiable, biggest and widest verifiable processes for onboarding customer, delivering services. In any transaction, building trust is the most important thing, and that is where you then build scalable transactions. So with verified users, we have created a platform, a population, an economy where things can be achieved at a scale in no time. And we have enough and more cases of product delivery and innovations. I have friends in the US, we have Indians, our fellow brethren outside, who struggle with small things, and now our kids are ordering breads in a minute. Of course, I have a different philosophy, but this is our level of innovation and product delivery innovations. We have adopted so many models. We have, like this Diwali, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised, that our regular house help had to rush to their hometown, so we were having a gap. I thought, भाई अब तो अपने को भी थोड़ा लग के काम करवाना पड़ेगा, दिवाली की सफाई है. But luckily, Conclave introduced something called as UC Instant, and in 15 minutes you could have booked a maid, which is verified, trained and skilled. Our folks at home said that they are better than the regular guys. So this is what we are seeing every day in our lives, where what we mean by product and delivery innovations. So this demography, Digital India, rapid adaptability demonstrated by us, and our ingrained innovation. Some people poorly term it as jugaad. I would like to say ingrained innovation is a better term. Eventually, as we all will agree to this. So this functional and technical ecosystem creates the biggest market with ability to provide a sustained development and growth. And that is where we are now realizing ki, okay, what as a superpower we have the potential. Why all global leaders are coming and saying ki, okay, we want to do trade agreements with India. Why we are one of the markets where global money bags are coming and willing to put money, and they are actually enjoying phenomenal returns. The rate of return for Indian startups by all the VCs is marginally better, and the rate of write-offs is slightly lesser in India. Eventually the data will speak more for this. So now, as I said, so what is our super legacy? We have our demography, we have lifestyles. So recently we heard about Kumbh. The statistics were overwhelming. What we saw during Diwali shopping, these were different altogether, unimaginable numbers. Even many developed nations are struggling to sustain, forget grow. They are struggling to sustain what they have achieved. And here we are adding not only new things in the market, but new ways of doing it, new ways of consuming it. What is our history? As I said earlier, we were global leaders in international trade. ऐसे ही नहीं हम सोने की चिड़िया कहलाते थे. Our living is very scientific, natural cycles embedded. Our customs, culture drive commerce as well. So that is why you will always see that we may have slowdown. We will rarely have recession, because every 6 months we have some or the other facility, festival where we give an economic boost to the local consumption, local goods, deliveries. Our consumption patterns are aligned to crop cycles. Our festivals are aligned to crop cycles, where the actual generation of resources happens. Now what is our present? Market size, as I said, demography, you take population, you take per capita growth, you take aspirational market, and we are the biggest market in so many things. We are setting up benchmarks at many consumption levels. Yes, there were days where everything was benchmark to developed worlds, ki okay, your per capita insurance is less, your per capita is this. But we are going to rewrite numbers very soon, where those benchmarks may not be the real benchmarks, or we will have to have our own things to look at. The pace at which our people delivered COVID vaccines, the pace at which we took care, this kind of population, and the administration we saw during COVID, that is amazing. So if we factor in all these things, our confidence should come back that yes, we are actually a superpower. We have not realized our potential. Yes, for some time there will be a dollar multiplier, there will be perceived value higher, but eventually as we grow, we we believe in our strength and we work on it, we will be then creating benchmarks as well. Now stacking up numbers, we have like as of now 1.6 lakhs DPIT registered startups. 74,000 of startups are led by women or at least one women director. In less than a decade, startups have directly provided approximately 16 lakh jobs, and indirectly should be a multiplier of that. The data is not available for that. Now, this was the super, this is the present. Now, what is the power as well? Now, where this power will sustain? Why are everyone is saying that you will have sustained growth, sustained growth, sustained growth? Because we are seeing rapid expansion of technology beyond the metros and identified markets. So we are seeing hubs coming into tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is also creating a decentralized growth market. If one pocket falls, consumption falls in a pocket, we have other pocket which creates newer opportunity and ensures growth for the business. A strong talent pool fueled by India's young tech-savvy population and widespread internet penetration. Yes, our talent pool is good. So they are not only creators of technology, but they are also consumers of startups, services and products. And to aid this, we have a growing venture capital and funding support with Indian startups raising billions through VCs and IPOs. Every other day, every week, we are seeing something new. Of course, valuations, we will have different thought. But as of now, what we are seeing is reality, and let us go with it. It should also encourage us and give us thoughts. Ki, okay, we may disagree on the valuation parameters, but at least we can have the encouragement to start something and achieve that kind of scale. Unicorns, as of now, 122. Next week, it should change. Total valuation, 366 billion. But eventually, we should start reading our numbers in lakhs. The value multiplier is 86 today. It may be 70 tomorrow, 85 day after. And in a decade or so, it should be 50, 60. We never know. And there, the benchmarks will start crumbling. The statistics will come again. Earlier, top cities like Bangalore had most unicorns, then Mumbai and Gurgaon. Eventually, you are seeing, before unicorn, there are various stages. You would have heard for a company called Minimalist. The promoters are from Jaipur. The company called Car Dekho, the promoter is from Jaipur. You have Zoho. Zoho started from US, but Sridhar Vembu has set up his base in his small village called Tenkasi, and the way he is expanding certain things. So this clearly shows us that yes, beyond metros there is huge scope, beyond metros there is huge potential, and the growth is democratized. It's not that something is getting concentrated. Of course, Mumbai being the financial capital hub, certain things may display a different pace here, but eventually tier 2, tier 3 cities are also catching up big time. This will not only, as I said, democratize growth, but provide a resilient market as well for us. And what we have, as I said earlier, what will enable this superpower status and help us to strengthen more. So we have the world's biggest secure digital public infra. In developed worlds also, they don't have anything like Aadhaar. What is Aadhaar? A verified identity which is digitally traceable and connected. So today, if I create an app which is of use to some people, can you imagine within 2 hours you can have 100,000 downloads, 1 lakh downloads. This is the potential which Aadhaar provides. With the kind of UPI payments we have, we can create verifiable, credible and secure identity management, and that can rapidly help scale user base, demonstrate use case, decide either you fail fast or you succeed for strong. Then this also creates a enabled population which is ready, verified and trusted consumers and market both ways. We have not yet actually experienced what is happening, but trust me, if you see numbers, there is a startup which created mobile security platform. So every app they have proven, now they are going. So they were starting to approach, we advised them on certain things. Now they had, so we thought, okay, mobile security, who will need? Banks will need. Okay, in mutual funds would need. E-commerce platforms would need, where they have credit card data and all. Then came the surprise. There is an organization called CRIS. How many have you heard about CRIS? Okay, this is Railway Information Systems. They have the biggest user base database on earth for actual users. 7 crore downloads they have. They run the IRCTC app. And this guy, when it came, the numbers, 3 large banks put together didn't have that kind of consumer base which CRIS had. So these are the possibilities and new opportunities these digital platforms are creating. Okay. Now integration. As I said, we can integrate the platforms, we can integrate the process technology on the fly. Today you imagine a business, you have payment integrations done in like 3 days, though people, phone pay, razor pay, their teams will come and you can integrate and start your e-commerce platform. You have logistics suppliers ready, Blue Darts of the world, DTDC, India Post, where you can build your supply chains around that. How easy it is. I know some people sitting in central India, they have businesses where they are selling to Amazon US, they haven't visited US yet, and they are touching $10 million in top line. This is the power and potential of these digital platforms. This is the area where, as Chanakyas, we can build Chandragupts as well. We have to realize and we have to understand that there are so many opportunities available which we have not opened our eyes yet to. And it is for us to lose. It is for us not to grow in that. So, and I have bias, of course, being a chartered accountant, I always want that my profession, my fraternity should progress, because I have seen education curriculum of other courses, I have seen how we are groomed and trained. So I always believe that yes, we should have the opportunity first. Now coming back to this, now what will be the multipliers? So like unicorn. So one unicorn will also help many other small and medium businesses. So if we see Zomato doing 1 million plus orders a day, more than 10 lakhs orders a day. So that means so many lakhs of containers, spoons, tissue papers. Now if we take 2 other entities. So similarly, if we start extrapolating, one Amazon creates so many people who supply tapes, packaging material. Domino's Pizza expands, they have cartons, packaging. So if we start plotting these things, you will be astonished in the multiplier effect which is happening right in front of our eyes, but we are yet to feel it because the reported numbers are different. So HUL today comes and says, okay, shampoo as a category, we are not seeing growth. But you log into Amazon, you log into Flipkart, you go to Nykaa, there are so many brands who are doing 50 crores to 100 crores annual sales, and they are nowhere in the public data. Of course, GST captures it, but GST doesn't give the segment-wise or sector-wise data for us to take a call, okay, this sector is also going to do well, this sector is also going to do well. So many consumption patterns are evolving, and all this is happening right in front of us. As the title said, superpower of startups. So I am stressing on these things again and again, so that we also realize we also build Chandragupts and some become Chandragupts as well. So it is for us again and again, I am saying, to look at one Vande Bharat train starts. It creates 1600 meals a day. 1600 ready meals market is being created with one Vande Bharat. Vande Bharat was not there in all analyst call, all steel consumption 7 years before. Now they have created a 70,000 crore cycle with a new rake of 400 crores, maintenance, consumables and so many other things. We never ever imagined this. Now we have so much spending going on infra. So people will say, okay, what a startup has to go if new bridge is getting constructed. I am at a startup in Bangalore. They make drones who only do maintenance of tracks and bridges. Yes. And one of the co-founders was chartered accountant. So he helped them build the processes. Okay, what also be seen. The technology guys do the technology part. Our people help in build the real profitable business matrix as well. So one unicorn create so many, it has a multiplier effect on the other entities. And then beyond unicorn, we are, because the media sells, everyone likes to see success story. With one unicorn, we would have at least 20 other companies which are doing 50 to 100, which we gladly call MSMEs in India. And that number is overwhelming. And the innovation that is happening there. So everyone would say, okay, steel industry, this much capacity. Then analysts will say, okay, with steel, this is the margin, this is the selling price, you buy iron ore, you take the conversion cost and this is the price. But these are the businesses. If you see one Samsung store, if you see one Apple store, they have a capex of anywhere between 15 to 2 crores, 15 lakhs to 2 crores. What happens? There are small industries which do sheet metal molding. They convert the steel into a very displayable units. We see beautiful outlets, we see fuel dispensers. Now these units, these industries make margin much more than what a conversion of ore to metal happens. So these industries, engineering and manufacturing is what I call them, where the delta is not your trading margin between iron ore and steel price, but your delta is your ability to do better things and your margins are much wider. You are insulated from the cyclicality part and you are part of the newer economy. Now these businesses also need consultants, chartered accountants, when they have to do bid management. There are so many engineers who have set up manufacturing units, but they don't find people who help them to do proper calculations. On a marginal basis, yes, they generate profits, but they can do much better. So this superpower status, when economy grows, so many opportunities start coming up. Sometimes we also have to take some effort to look around and then help themselves as well and help ourselves as well. So now new sectors are also coming. As I said, ki okay, railways mein Vande Bharat came, then clean tech, health tech, we were not aware of so many things which came. As I said, maids available on an app was surprise. Breads, we are getting appointments. We have heard so many stories from people where in developed world also they have to wait for 2 months for a dentist appointment. Here at our back end call, we get our blood test done, the person comes at home. There have been some jokes floating around social media where people, when they got the quotation for doing a test and treatment there, they took flight, came home, enjoyed everything, got a royal treatment, happily satisfied and went back. So this arbitrage, this value arbitrage will go away. We don't want to work beyond the point on that. But yes, there are fundamental new things which have evolved, which have created new business models and new opportunities as well. Defense, aviation, drones, less said better. It itself will take 2 sessions. And I was surprised to see the kind of technologies which are coming. We may not have appreciated or not have realized during Operation Sindoor that with, yes, God's grace and our sheer ability of our forces, we had no major damage, considering the kind of voluminous attacks we had from our neighbors. We have really not appreciated, I have not seen that happening, but we should be grateful. How did it happen? It was a mix of men, material, money and technology, all put together. But yes, tomorrow anything happens at a larger scale, there can be casualties. War is not something which everyone likes. But yes, because of the startups in this space, they have created the platforms, the technology where people are surprised. How come an F-35 takes time, 2 weeks, staying in India, unable to unlock and then fly back again? So there are many things, anecdotal, many things statistical, all these will create. One order with HAL is 70,000 crores. Even if I take 30% to be invested or rooted in India, that's 21,000 crores. We have offset clauses being created with defense. We should study all the trade FTAs being done with other countries, and we will be surprised to see the kind of opportunities we are going to look at. And within those, we can also help our clients and other people, okay, this is how we go about it, this is what can be done. So I'll just speedily take few things. Now, this also brings newer perspectives and resulting opportunities. These startups, this innovation is easing lives and supporting environment, making a safer and better planet as well. So this is what the superpower should be. We have images from the exhibition center in Delhi. We have Ram Mandir. Ram Mandir signifies the temple economy. I am not promoting only religion, but yes, it has a larger impact, and the kind of things which we are going to see revival globally in geopolitics with this, you will be reading over 2 to 3 years, we will realize, okay, this is what it has changed, it has impacted. And continuing with our culture will create a sustainable and robust market for us. So now, how do you, then the second part was scalability. And why scalability? Because it is good to talk and listen about all these success stories in startups. But then how do we really achieve some measurable success, let's say. So what is a startup? It is idea and execution is a startup. But what is valuation? Startup which is scaled up gives you the valuation, right? So startup many can have, any and many startups come. But it is the scalability which adds the valuation perspective, which gives the valuation perspective to a startup. And scalability is not only monetary scalability, it has its own impact numbers as well. So let's see, many of us would be aware, but I have some perspectives which I put to people. These are the points which we should put across to our clients, to our friends, or to our people who see they have startups or they're struggling. So I will be happy to share some parts with you, and I hope you all will then take this forward. So initially what happens with founders is, there is a guy from IT background, he says this is how I do it, and I have a small set of operations. So these are very intertwined. There are founders and there are operations. Everything is intertwined. They only control everything. Peon bhi wohi, president bhi wohi, but theek hai, as a startup that's right. Till the time the rubber hits the road and they feel this is how they operate. Now with no financial background or no training, and with the growth which comes suddenly, then they start falling on many things. And these twists they cannot handle. Ideally, eventually, if a CA comes in the picture, then how it will like to do? They would like to tell them, okay, you should have segments, of course, not to kill a startup with bureaucratic processes, but eventually as they scale up, they grow, they should become more organized. It's more of a grid-like structure, more predictable. Now, any organization is like a jigsaw. There are so many components that build an organization. Many people are not even aware. If you see so many projections come to us and everywhere, because we have democracy, ना सोचने बोलने पे टैक्स नहीं, सबका ऐसे hockey stick pattern होता है. This is the cost and this is the profit. ऐसा, everything goes like this. And 99% of the comparisons, if you do with actuals, it is like this. The hockey stick goes ulta. Sometimes there is no paper left only to do anything. There is no canvas left. So there are so many organizational variables which they don't know. How do we help them? To achieve a scale and a demonstrated and sustainable scale, they have to do financial modeling. Financial modeling is not complex Excel sheet, at least, but he should be aware that, okay, his per transaction level, how he's going to do. At a certain scale, what are the additional overheads he is going to expand as well. Then product segments, he should identify what should be his product segments. A certain company comes to us, they said we have a technology which can clean carbon from diesel engines and then we can make revenue. So one founder said that we want to do it as a franchise model and give franchises. One founder said, no, we will start up our own stores and we'll do decarboning of engines and we'll claim carbon credits. So we were also approached. They said, what is your present challenge? So they said, our present challenge, of course, cash flow, business, everything. Said, you have diesel, you have proven capabilities. It has a small element of IP, but IP will take time to establish. So we recommended them, you go to State Transport Corporation or bulk fleet owners who have all diesel engines only. Put a demonstration center there. Understand there, you will be able to get more customers before creating franchise and your cash flows will start coming in and your testimonials will be actual. This kind of cut ice with them and then they moved forward and scaled up. So how do they identify their market? How do they identify their product segments? We have to guide them, we have to help them, and scalability is one of the moment you have a structured business, scalability is much easier and better as well. So revenue and controls, risk management. Initial days, Ola had a bug. So if you apply for a discount, if you load your wallet, it will give you 100% top up, 100% value add. So there were stories, people in Pune added 2 lakh rupees to Ola wallet. So their balance came to 4 lakh rupees. Then they realized that ये तो 1 महीने 2 महीने ज़्यादा नहीं चलाने देने का है. Then they got it right. So this is the risk management, how you build control functions in the revenue design and other things. Now, once the business grows, certain things which are important now may be less important later. Certain things which were not visible now will be very crucial later. So if you put time and scale of business, either x-axis, y-axis, both ways it works. So if I have to be number one in market, so initially brand management, my sourcing and unit price variables. So these are the variables. If I have to have pan organization structure, then my systems IT, which shows in pink color, my distribution channels, my manpower quality and delivery, all these has to be identified. So if an organization or a startup wants to be successful and wants to get choked, they have to identify what are the areas, what they should do. Let's see how it has to be done. Now initial model, as we discussed, it was familiarity, control and dynamic, but it was intertwined. Then someone comes, a professional comes, guides, they appoint consultants. The moment they get funding, they appoint consultants and then they start getting structured. So then they have budgeting, analysis, internal controls. We have an opportunity here to move out of our annual billing cycles and annual festivals of stat audit, tax audit, bank audit. I always say that we, rather than having an annual billing festival, in addition to that, we should have monthly cycles as well. So as a for these startups, we can be the partner of choice to help them do a monthly book close, to identify what all their processes, internal processes, reconciliation should look like. Because the scale at which they grow, they need this very badly, because if they fumble, then the fatality, their failure increases. So all these things are opportunity. Any scalability project is the first opportunity for a chartered accountant to get aligned with the startup. As we discussed earlier, because before scalability, you do something called as design. We'll come to that. So now what happens is, again, just to reiterate, there is senior management operations and they cater to the customers. It was a startup. Once it scales up, you have large scale of operations, you have senior management, middle management, your operations are spread across locations, and the customer interface or the value or service value perception which the customer gets is diluted. It goes in multiple hands and multiple checkpoints. So now then you also have to be aware on real-time awareness on cost levers and delivery environments. Suppose you have to work out, we are on Swiggy or Zomato, then they need to have the delivery zone identified, the time identified. If Ola, someone is calling a cab where the pickup is only 10 kilometers away. So these are very dynamic environments. The internal controls built in the design of the solution, product or service offering that will determine success or failure of those startups. And how do the startups at a certain level deliver? Through talent management, through governance and control over geographically spread locations. Now, we'll come to this. This is, I hope, I cannot go back. Okay. Now, thinking board, ki from an idea to a viable idea. If a startup comes, if a potential Chandragupta comes to us, what should we do for building a scalable model for them? Something which can be, and scale doesn't mean a unicorn always. A small restaurant catering to 200 guests a day should also ensure that they don't run on losses, right? So start with a clear vision and achievable mission. We can ask them, ki, okay, once you have validated the idea with a MVP, minimum viable product, and achieve the product market fit before expanding. They should always ensure that their core offering solves a real problem for a large and accessible market. Something which is suitable to my society may not be suitable to the city or country at large. So their core offering should be solving a real problem for a large accessible market. You will always have to ask them. Of course, one component supplier to industries, of course, they have a large addressable market. So it changes, but the base remains same. Then build identify database of potential customers and target markets early. As I said, the people came that we want to do decarbonize the engines, charge money, make money through carbon credit. So I said, where will you make cash flow? You will take 3 years to build a scale in that. We changed their perspective, got them to identify clusters of market where every other bus came automatically to them. They didn't have to go to scout new customer every day. So this changed, and we identified the market early, helped them with cash flow. The funding round got delayed and the dilution also got reduced. Now strategic team building. So we should always analyze, okay, there are multiple skill sets which every business requires. So the core they may have, but we can always help them, okay, you should have a cultural fit also and for your future growth needs also. Then they should also be able to empower new leaders. Today, 2 people sitting in office with a 20-member team can give instructions personally. Today, 2 people with 5 outlets can manage things on their own energy, running around doing things. Tomorrow, a McDonald's with 300 outlets cannot do the same thing. Domino's with 500 outlets cannot do the same thing. Zepto, Swiggy, Zomato with 1500 dark stores cannot do. DMart, we take anything. Even railway, state transport, government departments. Once the things goes geographically strong or spreads, then you have to have leaders with real role. You have to have decision making getting diluted. You have to delegate powers. That is what has to be drilled. And when the scalability happens, if this is not done, the businesses choke up. Typically, this happens. And then they should also have a team culture which can adapt, innovate, and manage complexity at a larger scale. One bug in a system update can bring the entire business down. So today, the kind of cutthroat competition which Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto are having, why Amazon is launching Amazon now, Amazon Quick or now, Flipkart is launching Flipkart Minutes. Why? And in that case, in this cutthroat competition, if their app or anything is down even for 2 hours, people will not come again. Arey wo to kharab ho gaya tha, abhi chala ki nahi pata nahi. And they lose value, traction, and customer loyalty or touch as well. Then they have to invest in technology and infra both quickly. If you also believe this is rapidly scalable, then you have to create that kind of technology infra and controls in place. And how do we build that controls? We'll come to that part. Then automate repetitive tasks. AI is everywhere doing this, but before that, what is the task? How it has to be identified? What is to be repeated and what is to be checked repeatedly? Who will decide that? AI cannot decide that. It is for us, professionals like us, who have to guide, okay, these are the checks and balances which have to be built in every process, and this is also, it has to be checked in every transaction as well. So then scalability means what? So you are addressing a large customer base. So in any case, they should not dilute their customer and market focus. So prioritize both new customer acquisition and retention for sustainable revenue growth. They have to use data-driven decision making, like ki, okay, customer lifetime value kya, how do I acquire new customer, how do I retain existing customer without incurring additional cost. A business from a new customer comes at an additional customer acquisition cost. A business repeat from an existing customer adds to my margins. So they have to have a healthy mix of getting new customers as well for business, for valuation, for next round of funding. But for survival and sustainability, they also have to have existing customers being retained and coming back to them again. Repeat business, better and higher everything. Repeat business is higher margins, higher customer satisfaction, more retention. Now fundraising. There are many rounds. I think one more round is there on fundraising, so I will not dilute anything or I will not take. So we'll continue. Scaling mindset. One of the biggest thing is ability to give your small toy. Sometimes it is ego, sometimes it is rigidity of mind. So you will have to allow people to take decisions. Ki, okay, this way I let my people take these calls on expenses, reimbursement. I don't want to be control freak and stop certain things. I don't know where the delivery person is operating in an environment where he may have to incur certain costs. Something has changed, right? Okay. So this scaling mindset has to help build controls. This scaling mindset has to help give dilution of powers, but ensure delivery of service and running of businesses smoothly. They should remain open to feedback, mentoring and strategic pivots as markets evolve. Now, management and growth. They have to be very diligent with data, business data and operating data as well. Operating data will determine their cost, cash flow, profitable, and business data will give them strategy, direction, growth, and take the right calls. Now, they have also to build in monitoring points to ensure core objectives are not diluted, as that's what got the customers first. The first service delivery experience or innovation got them the first set of customers, which helped them expand, which became their messengers for the next set of business as well. So they have to build in, okay, they don't dilute those things and ensure adequate support infra and teams and tools with scaling. Now, in addition to this, they should also be alerts built in the system where product market fit and customer value. Okay. So failing to confirm strong product market fit before scaling often leads to wasted resources or customer churn. For a minute, the guys who came for that engine decarbonization, I'm giving an example because it has various perspectives added to it. So some people may find it example is repeated, but there are various perspectives. Had they not thought about going for bulk customers to build cash flow, to build conviction, and to have large data of proven deliveries, they would have been wasting money and cash, much needed cash, on expanding franchisees, doing 1-2 vehicles, marketing, calling vehicles. Now this has changed. Misunderstanding what customers value and are willing to pay for can undermine pricing and adoption. Someone came, I believe I'm helping you with loan facilitation, online platform, let me charge 5% commission. I said, not sustainable. Why would anyone give you 5% commission for something which is available at 0.5%, 1%, 2%? So what customers will value, like if you see, I don't know how many of you have observed, earlier Blinkit when started, they didn't have anything like handling fee, delivery fee. Then Swiggy came, they also followed, they were fighting with each other, we were happy, new coupon codes, discount, no charges, blah, blah, blah. Then this animal called Zepto came in the market. They scaled up, they had wild spirits, but when we saw the total of every order, they inserted something like handling fee. So they spoiled. Then Swiggy also, Instamart also understood, Blinkit also understood, ki boss, ye kya hai? Then they came with rain fee. Small cart fee, if your order is less than 200 rupees, they will levy 20 rupees. Arey bhai, you are charging me delivery. You are getting your margin in the product as well. Then you have created small cart fee also for me. So you are saying if your order is more than 400, we will not levy this. So their misunderstanding of what customers value and are willing to pay can undermine pricing and adoption. People who were smart started comparing between Instamart and Zepto and they started losing volumes. They had to cut the prices, but they stuck because the funders will not give money where you don't have any additional fee income to be made. But eventually what happened? The market, they had to shut Zepto Cafe because the perception, value perception changes that, okay, the other guy is not charging to me, then why are you charging to me? So these are examples where small decisions will have massive impacts. And how do we study? So any business which has to scale and sustain, there are plethora of decisions to be looked at. Then operational and financial complexities, we are masters in it. This is our home ground. As much as I can say, there are people who are more experienced than me here, so they can look at it. Cost, operational efficiency, cash flow problems. Once the business scales up, the cycles get delayed. The vendor payments have to be made early. So how do you manage those? The payrolls swell, the cash flow mismatches happen. So this is where our inputs and expertise will also help. Now, how do we achieve all this? There is a concept called design thinking. We do every day. In banks, we do vouching. Vouching say, old days, voucher will go to the ledger. It's a big book. From there, it travels to the cashier to counter, whichever it has to go, and then it comes. Every transaction, even a voucher, is designed in a way to capture information and do certain things. This design thinking, I have NHS working, and we will try that we get some chapters included in our curriculum. We have been practicing, we have been experiencing it, but we have not been able to utilize it to the fullest. Now imagine a digital environment. We see a paper voucher, we can correct it, okay, we can print it, done. Now those are not there anymore. Everything is a digital database, there are data fields. One wrong design, and as we said, Ola 100% bonus on cash addition, people added 2 lakhs, total 4 lakhs in the wallet balance. I am happy, company is crying. 10,000 people would have done that, period. Of course, not everyone would have added 2 lakhs, but they could have said, okay, for 2 recharges up to 2,000, I give you top up. So these are the things when you design something. So if they have to add a new patch or new voucher or new facilities, does their process design and approval have some basic checks on plus minus algorithm? They can be good and smart with technology. But if they're not good with all these things, then businesses won't be able to scale. If they, till the time they realize money in the bank has gone, because everything is digital, real time. So design thinking is one of the most important parts when you build organizations for scale or when you want to ingrain scalability in any organization for any startup. So what happens in design thinking, quickly we'll see. There is a process overview. We can decide, okay, this is how the processes are going to work. These are the checks and balances which have to be do. What is the objective of a particular process? Why this has to be done? Swiggy, Zomato, they started. Why quoting these examples? Because we see them every day. There was a delight when Zomato changed the interface where we could see the dishes being prepared, videos getting uploaded, right? So there was a delight. But did they, what was the objective? Because when two people are offering the same thing in the market, where my customer can look at certain things. So if I have to have product innovation, what is my objective as well? To have customer retention as well and to give a value add which the competition is not offering. So what is my objective behind any and every process? It may be checking. There were instances, they also evolve, where people would open up Zomato. There were videos where the delivery boy is eating and then packing again and delivering. So they change the taping process. How do they seal? They added one more envelope that is packed, so you should not accept if it is tampered. What are the inputs of any process? So, okay, what are the key things which have to go? If I have to push any new discount offer, what are the inputs that I'm going to see? Okay, this should not cut back my margin by beyond a certain point. This is some cost which is acceptable to me. Then process activity tree, then you map the process, then you have workflows and controls. Okay, this is the authority who will approve this, this is the authority who will do that. What are the outputs expected from a particular process? In mutual fund industry, they are doing AI. We were advising some people, they are developing AI for mutual funds. So they said, okay, every festival I have to put a flyer out. Every festival I have 20 schemes running and 40 schemes running, and these are things. So every festival, everything I have to announce 40 different ways to do it. Now, suppose tomorrow they announce an achievement and they say, okay, guaranteed returns, galti se uspe print hoke chala gaya. A regulator will come tomorrow. How can you offer guaranteed returns in an equity mutual fund? Example. So now, what is the key output and what are the controls built in so that any output which goes through AI also, it has to have the basic regulatory and business control features both complied. Then what are the KPIs of any process? What are the KPIs? If I'm doing this, what is the key performance indicator which should come out of this? And what is the MIS which should come? Because at a certain level, it is the MIS which will drive the business decision. It can be management information system also, it can be misinformation system also. So design thinking will give simpler, clearer, achievable and business models which can be successful and scalable as well. Once you do that, once the businesses evolve, this is how ideal structure looks like. This is just a referral ideal structure, and every business may have some nuances or changes to it. You have a strategic process which is done by the leadership. Then we have operating processes, which are the management, and then there are support processes as well. So this is what an evolved structure would look like. So illustrative, I'll share the presentation. You can take from institute people because I've run out of time. And as I said earlier, that Saurav gave me a topic for 2 days, but we had a session only. Yes. So welcome to the world of possibilities and realization of dreams. Shresht Bharat, Swarnim Bharat. We should see an India where people are there, where we are growing. The best part of this image was the cow rotating, but there is an idea bulb as well. So this I only generated through Perplexity. First time I tried and it was a good output is what I feel. So I thought एक के जगह 4 share करते सबके साथ में. Yes, thank you so much. Any questions, we'll be happy to take.